And welcome back to part five. So in this part, I am going to start polishing the quads and just the upper legs, maybe the glutes as well, you know. But the overall goal of this video is just to continue polishing and, have something that looks a bit cleaner. So yeah, let's get back into it. Mm, Grab my damn standard and just start blocking out the muscle. See. And again, I realize that the thighs are a bit too thick, so I'm just going to cut away as I add the muscle. That sounds very contradictory, but as I you know, sculpt the muscle, I'll be cutting away at certain points just to kind of balance out, the proportions. But you'll see, basically what we've been doing all this time, we're just going to continue doing that. And the big thing is not to get attached. That's what makes it easier to kind of adjust your work if it doesn't look good. Uh, what's going on? Mm, Again, see, the thing with anatomy is you don't want to necessarily get it like one to one. Okay, that sounds wrong. You don't have to get it one to one, but you have to suggest the form or the shape of the muscle, you know, because the problem with anatomy is if you're gonna try get it one to one, the more you put yourself under scrutiny as to what's correct and what isn't. So again, I'm no master, but like that's how I try and approach it. I just try and figure out the big muscles that inform the shape of whatever I'm sculpting, be it leg or arm and whatnot, and then just try and build around that. And then after that, that's when I go back in and just like start adding skin, adding fat, or just like smoothing over the muscle so it's not as defined. Because in reality, even if you think about it, right, like, yeah, you get like uh bodybuilders and athletes who are like shredded, but in reality, not everyone's shredded. Like that's a low percentage of people, like people who work out, right? Like that level of definition is not common amongst normal people. So just think about that as well. Okay, there we go. Some shape there. See, like it might be prominent right now, but it'll all just disappear once we start just blending the muscle with the skin and fat, and then just try and balance that out. Even this is a bit too big. So just grab the trim dynamic. So I always try and apply trim dynamic to areas that are bony, or like bony landmarks, because I like how it kind of defines or helps define like the landmark. Uh, Pick up the Oppo 6 and then just be a bit more aggressive. Brush. And this cool little technique of just like smoothing out forms without the smooth brush I got from Henning from Uplift Normals when I was still trying to get better at sculpting. So I find that it helps a lot, and I just like the texture it leaves on the model, because I, again, just to reiterate, like I don't like a smooth model, or like a model, or like the smooth brush in general, because it just takes away from like the general form of what you put on the model. So it's like, yeah, leave a little texture as well. I don't think I'll take the lower legs too far though. You know, if this is meant to be practice, I'm not gonna polish the sculpt all the way through. Like, just fail fast and keep on moving kind of mentality. So that's the idea. Like, I just need to get it looking presentable or looking good, or. Mm, starting to shape up. Mm, yeah, before I get too caught up on this leg, I'm gonna move on to the next one, you know, just to bring it up to the same level of detail, because that's the tricky part about, you know, asymmetrical sculpting. Um, you have to do everything one by one. This would be a really cool, you know, area to like polish and start adding like, you know, folds or like skin folds, like holding on to each other, but we're not there yet. So I don't know, I just want to suggest it maybe. Uh, Here we go. For the more recessed areas like that, like maybe even there, once we start like, you know, further polishing even more, like that's where I'll start bringing in like the standard brush, because it's really nice for areas like that to like kind of have some breakup on the skin, between the skin and the muscle, and then just go back in and try and layer in some clay buildup. And right there, like I always do that for the pelvic bone, right? Because of where like all these quad muscles, like they all kind of originate from there. So I always try and imitate that as well. Mm, and there, I think I can take away, yeah, from the side. Um, right now I'm just mumbling to myself and just trying to plot out this side, because like right there, that's always a nice shape to try and like get out of, like, you know, the female pelvic region. And then from the side, just try and match that as well. Just try and match that line. That's the proper way to explain it. But like that kind of like that line of like, I want to say action or follow through. Like it's just like, yeah, where you just get the shape. Like if you look at this crochet right there, right, there's always just like that line flowing like that line. So even when you're blocking out like your primary forms and polishing that, like you're always cognizant of all those, lines, but like to a finer level. I mean, since there's some dead space within the video, maybe now would be the time to kind of share some backstory, some plot. So I'm currently a 3D generalist and a technical artist in South Africa, and I work for a local indie studio. There's something big coming. Just stay tuned. I can't share anything right now, but yeah, I think I'll maybe run a stream or just share some of my work once the game does release. Uh, but yeah, aside from that, I actually come from a background of just like character art, right? I've worked in animation. I don't know if you've seen the movie SEAL Team on Netflix, an animated movie. I was a character modeler on that. So there's some of like my experience. Like so what I did on that film, I was well, detailed. Like I was a concept sculptor and just I helped with the concept sculpting and the modeling, and then other little things like hero props, standard props, and yeah, that was a very short backstory. But aside from that, I've been on this current project and at my current studio for 5 years now, and I've got about it's 2024 now, right? So that's 6 years. No, that's 5 years as a professional, 3D artist focusing on character modeling. But before that, I started like sculpting like back in 2017, 2016, and yeah, like I started doing freelance work around 2018, got discovered to come work on the animated movie, and we're here. And then with the current studio, I transitioned into technical art because turns out I find the technical side of like, asset creation much more fascinating, or just like the general game dev process. It's much more interesting to me. Like I'm one of those artists that really hate things like texturing. I cannot stand texturing, and I also understand that texturing can make or break your model. So I try and like do it to a very a decent point, you know be able to make materials read like certain materials, like just good material definition. I try and do it up to a very decent level. I'd say maybe like 6 or 7, and then I hide behind Unreal Engine with my rendering. So yeah, because that's where I'm much more comfortable versus the texturing. But like anything that has to do with like the creative side, I kind of fall flat. Um, I had an interesting conversation with a colleague the one time, and the way they were explaining their process when they were busy like dressing or creating something is they love creating like a story and how something works and would flow into something that influences something, because hey, this character had a big tumble, that's why he has that like little scars. Like I can't think like that, right? Like, and I'm very jealous of like artists that can think like that, because a lot of like my approach is very by the numbers. It's very logical, very, you get it. It's to the point. Like I would rather, I've come to accept that I do better off getting a concept versus creating my own concept. So that's why I find things like with anatomy so interesting, right? Because they're very, anatomy is very, it's it's set in stone, it's to the point, it is something that is, you don't have to apply too much creativity to anatomy. You just have to apply observation, and that's part of the fascination as well. It's, I don't have to be creative, I just have to understand. Like I enjoy understanding, and I enjoy the technical part of art, hence tech art. Like, yes, sculpting is very creative, but I would also argue that sculpting things like anatomy can get, you need the technical knowledge, like, not technical in the actual sense, but like it gives very technical, like one wrong move and hey, you're cooked. But anyway, I'm gonna stop yapping now. That's the basic idea. Like I'm much more of a logical artist, an artist that like wants to understand how things work, and less creative. I would rather build a system and then be part of, the brainstorming process. Like that's yeah, that's where I kind of fall apart, because I think even then my best ideas would come when I am building the system, not when I have to brainstorm it. That's when I solve like problems better, when I'm actually hands on and building something. But yeah, that sounded very convoluted, but I hope it made sense. Said a whole lot of nothing while being something. Okay, See, right there, shape of the legs. That is wrong. Now I'm gonna try and fix that. Again, for you to get better, you have to be critical of your own work. And since it is practice, like, you know, just just be a little extra critical. You don't have to get attached. It's practice. And if you don't like it, you can just fix it. If you don't want to fix it, you can just start over. And this is wrong. Too defined right there. Oh. Uh, I like what's happening there with the pelvic bone, so I'm not gonna cut away too much at it. Just gonna lower the intensity for the smooth brush, and then just kind of, yeah, let's do that. I'm just kind of like, I like the protrusion of it. After this video, which is part 5, I think I'll only be back after New Year because, you know, festive season, and I'm going home to visit family, currently located in Joburg. So yeah. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, we build on the obliques just a bit. Have some skin. Am I looking for again? No, that's definitely not it. Delete pinned cylinder. The name's Betty. Uh, think I'm close to calling it. We'll pick it up next year. some point I'm gonna have to stop avoiding the hands. Hands are not particularly my favorite, but make no mistake, hands are very important because they will make or break your sculpt. I think I'm ready to upraise again. Might have to rotate that part of the arm. But yeah, let's see. Back. It is something off about the back. I think it might be this lat over here. Okay. Right underneath the arm like that. Just trying to focus on the insertion points as well. And okay, now let me see. I understand now. There you go. And then just a little something off about the lower back. There you go. Okay, we're pushing 40 minutes. I think I'm gonna stop right here, but yeah, slowly shaping up. I think next part I'm gonna dynamize the glutes and the breasts so we can start having everything blend together. But yeah, that's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you after New Year's.